This is Pop Culture on Blast. Hi, this is Josh.
This is Justin.
And I'm Tim.
So what about this new Dune movie, Justin?
Well, it's making the news lately. They're doing a lot of casting. A lot of big names are hitting the movie.
This is actually big news because it seems like every week when I go to Google and, Google tailors to my preferences, so it will give me nerd news. Mm-hmm. So I'm like every week it's like somebody else has been casted in the new Denis Villeneuve movie Dune. And I was like, wow, this is actually a big deal. People actually care.
I'm excited. As you know, Josh, I'm a big fan of this movie, and as much as I love the original and the miniseries for different reasons, I'm still looking forward to a different interpretation. And Denis Villeneuve, I think, is a fantastic filmmaker, and I'm very eager
Let's
to see
go through his catalog really quick.
Okay.
Oh, what I meant was researcher, that you tell us what he's done.
Oh, I see. Well, let's see. Pulling up his IMDb. Blade Runner 2049 is his most recent. That was 2017. Arrival 2016. Sicario. There was something in 2010. I think that's foreign. But Sicario was 2015, I said. Enemy 2013. A very... not many people know about that movie, but it's different. And
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Something called Prisoners, which I have not seen. Heard of it, haven't seen it. Couple things, but I'd say he kind of broke ground with Enemy. I think that's when people really started to take notice of him. Well, I just said I'm a big fan. Josh, you're probably middle ground, yeah?
Slightly above that.
Okay.
I think.
Now, Tim.
Yes. Oh, he doesn't seem very enthused.
Tim's not.
Okay, Tim also refers to himself in the third person.
Sometimes, yeah.
Okay, well, what... You just rewatched the original
I just
Dune,
watched it.
and we mean the
before.
David Lynch version.
Yeah.
That's the one you watched last night?
Yeah.
Okay, and you were not impressed. I can tell by the look on your face.
I hated it.
You hated it.
I hated it.
Oh, I think it's something that you have to warm up to, kind of like the original Blade Runner. When we first saw Blade Runner, I watched it with Justin. We hated it, right?
We really did.
We really did. It was just an awful experience. We were I felt like I wanted to take a shower. But now I can appreciate it. So I think maybe it has to grow on you, because there's a lot of gross elements in Dune, and it's I don't know if it's not Frank Herbert. It's David Lynch.
Oh yeah, that's
it's tailored
Lynch's
some of that look.
Influence.
Right. So
what were your thoughts of the movie in general, Tim? Before we talk about the casting of the new one and all that.
It's slow to build up. Time frames when important things should be happening are fast forward through. It literally takes forever to get to a point where the movie should be good, and then we're going to go ahead and fast forward 2 years. Why cut that out? I didn't.
You mean after he becomes Muad'Dib and starts? Okay,
they do that in that mini series as well, don't they?
The mini series kind of gives you, because of its length, it gives you more of a you're there with him along the journey. I do agree that the film version of Dune, skip some of the trials and tribulations of him becoming the universal savior Muad'Dib. But I mean, what are they going to do? It's a 2.5 hour movie, not even that. The miniseries had 3 90-minute movies to sell that, and they did. But let me ask you something. I'm curious. I was thinking about this earlier, Tim. Are you a fan of The Godfather?
Yes.
I find that interesting because I find Dune is not a Star Wars movie, or it's more like The Godfather in space. I think you said that.
No, I did. You're stealing what you must have.
That must have been where I got it.
Yeah,
okay.
Justin and I have another podcast, and this is kind of shameless self-promotion. It's called The Soulless Minions of Orthodoxy, where we do commentaries, right? And I can tell Tim is very unimpressed. But as well, but
thrilled.
Many years ago, we did a commentary for Dune, and I said, it was like the Godfather of space. And I thought about that yesterday because I was watching something that somebody had done on YouTube about this new Dune, and they said, well, if you like Game of Thrones, it's like Game of Thrones in space. I'm like, well, okay, I kind of like my Godfather analogy a little bit better, but it is. It's not typical sci-fi. It's not like Star Trek.
No, it's not typical sci-fi.
No, it's It's not about the tech. It's
No,
not like
not
that
at
at
all.
all. No. Although,
Tim, I mean,
it's
did
part
you?
of it, yes, with the spice and
Yeah,
That's
sure.
more about a philosophy, I think.
As a matter of fact, let me just lead to the something you didn't like about this, and what do you hope to see different in the new movie?
It's every 80s cliche. And
Like,
that's the problem. We'll have the white girl explain everything in the very beginning.
oh yeah, that
That
beginning's
cut.
Oh,
bad.
that was Victoria? Something Madsen.
Virginia Madsen.
Virginia Madsen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's bad.
That's a bad. The TV
that
version
was
has
bad.
a better opening.
Right.
We agree. That's a bad
Yeah.
opening.
Oh,
That
yes.
was a bad
I forgot to
opening.
tell you something. She fades back in. I was like, that's cute.
Like I said, the love story. Oh, you're the one for my vision. Yep. So I'm going to be with you. There's no development with their characters.
With,
it's
with
just
Sean
like,
Young, right?
Yeah,
That's
it's
true.
It's just literally. Oh yeah, I know we're going to be together. Oh look, we're together.
Again, the miniseries fleshes that out more, much
Well, yes,
more.
but they took a long time in the beginning which could have taken shorter to build that up.
A lot of setup and not a lot of
Yes.
like they spend many scenes with him dreaming about Chani and all that, only to meet her and like you said, and be like, oh, so we're doing it now? We're good?
You know,
I get it.
I think I was really hitting on something. I think it really is a slow burn because I can't say that I love that movie now, but it's become a part of my consciousness where I can hear a line from the movie and it makes me just it resonates.
He who
throughout my
controls
whole
the
body.
spice
Controls the universe. Or those sounds could be imitated. Yes,
I know the difference.
but I know the difference. Yeah. It's like, well, there's nothing really great about that line.
You
but
young pup. You young pup.
but I just I can't help it, you know. What's
Captain Picard?
no his the second in the Little John of the movie. What's his name?
Oh, God,
You know, in the-
yes, I know. 2 seconds ago, it's Stilgar.
Stilgar. When Stilgar puts his hand up and it's red, the Fedakeen.
The Beta Key.
The Fedakeen. I'm like, I don't know why I like it so much. I just do.
I know.
I don't know. And Kyle MacLachlan lets so money in that movie.
He does look money.
And you know, I read an article.
Hold on.
He is just completely lost. It's completely shut down. He's like, I don't know what these people.
Okay, wait, hold on. We keep
talking
cutting him
about.
off. Okay, Tim.
Yeah.
So, other than what you've already mentioned, that it was a bad opening, what else? Because, I mean, honestly, I could defend that movie all day. So, tell me about the casting. What did you think about their performances?
Basic.
Really, man.
Nothing that really screamed out to me. They pretty much took the popular people from the 80s and threw them in that film,
Even
What-
Kyle MacLachlan.
which
He was relatively unknown.
He was at the time.
We know him now.
well, you know him now, yes, but most of the other people
Like who?
were no.
I mean,
Sean Young was known.
Was she?
yeah, but she wasn't
Yeah.
like huge or anything. And the guy that played Stilgar, like I've seen him in a handful of things even to this day. That's it.
Sting.
Okay, so Sting was stunt casting, no doubt.
But he was awesome though.
I will kill you.
I will kill him.
All right. So you didn't like the editing, the plotting, the actors, or the intro.
Is there a silver lining? I
Is
think
there
that's where he's
anything you
getting.
did like?
Patrick Stewart.
What about him? Just that it's Patrick Stewart?
Just
Or-
that it's Patrick Stewart. That pretty much I could just say that this was his vacation on the holodeck when he was in Next Gen.
This all takes place on the holodeck in the Enterprise.
Seriously. No,
All
it's
right.
just there wasn't build up. There was just okay, here's a spice, here's a worm. You know, there's no true explanation for anything.
Are you aware of some of the stuff that happened when the movie came out theatrically?
No.
That because the movie is so dense with information that people were given pamphlets to explain the terms like Bene Gesserit, Fremen, you know, whatever, because it was so jam-packed full of information that the filmmakers, or probably the producers, felt like audience people wouldn't understand what's going on. And it's still to this day. It's often viewed as incomprehensible, which I'll never understand, but a lot of people feel that it is. You understood it, right? I mean,
Yes.
there's no questions about what was going on. You just genuinely didn't care for
Yeah, I'm not a sharp individual, and I can be befuddled by a movie just like anybody else, and be confused. But when it came to Dune, I always thought it was pretty straightforward. I didn't think it was a mystery plot. I think people's motivations were pretty clear.
No, they literally said what the motivations were in the beginning of the film.
Right.
We're gonna kill him. We're gonna take over the planet.
Yeah.
Don't kill him. Kill his son. That's what we want. Okay, that's the whole, they laid out the entire
Yes, they
plot
And
for
the
the film.
And who's who is pretty clear.
Yeah.
They're pretty well defined.
And like I told Justin, what the hell was up with those boils?
Oh, on the
Baron's
on the
face.
Baron.
Yeah, on the Baron's face. That made
I think
and
that's just Lynch.
That's what I said.
and
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
oil plug.
Yeah, the heart plug.
I asked Justin about that once, and he's the Dune expert. He didn't even know.
That made no sense.
I have read the book, and honestly, I don't recall if those are there or not. To be perfectly honest, it's been a long, long time. But okay, so you just didn't work for you.
I mean, I can't blame them for the CGI because it was the '84.
God,
So
the
you
effects
can't
look great.
you can't blame them for the blocky shields that they created.
Yeah.
Did you say the effects look great?
I think so.
Well, some of them don't.
There obviously there's an exception.
The spaceship scenes don't.
The
some of those
spaceship scenes don't look
those
good.
composites don't look very good.
No, but we've talked about this. The worms look
worms look
amazing. Some of the exterior
music.
shots.
Oh my God.
Music.
We've used what's the music we use?
Big Battle.
Big Battle we use in a fake Spaceballs trailer.
Yeah,
it's great.
Okay, so let's get Tim's interest back in this because we're losing him.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into
away.
the casting of the new one. Okay, so let's start at the top of the family. Paul Atreides is gonna. I'm not familiar with this actor, Timothy Chalamet. I think it.
He did something called "Call Me by Your Name" recently.
Okay, I'm just not familiar with him. Judging by his picture, he almost looks like a young, skinny Kyle MacLachlan. I can kind of see it. Oscar Isaac is playing Duke Leto. I think that just like in the '84 version of Dune, I don't believe that man could produce that child. As in, there seem to be different nationalities, but whatever. Rebecca Ferguson is playing Lady Jessica. Perfect casting, in my opinion. Jason Momoa, we just learned, is playing Duncan Idaho, who won't last long, unfortunately, in the movie, but whatever. But that's because, Tim, you're not aware of this, in the sequels, his character comes back. So they've got... It's not worth explaining right now, but his character does come back even though he dies. Josh Brolin is playing Gurney Halleck, who you and I talked about. After seeing him as Cable, I think like seeing him as a grizzled warrior trainer, it's like perfect. Dave Bautista is listed as playing Raban. He was the lesser of the two nephews.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, awesome. Charlotte Rampling is playing the Reverend Mother, older actress, but she's kind of perfect for it. Stellan Skarsgård is playing the Baron Harkonnen. So not like some big, fat, disgusting guy. Tim, I really encourage you to see the miniseries because they play the characters in a lot of different ways than the movie did. The Baron being a huge... The Baron, both in the book and in the miniseries, he was smart. He was a strategic...
Still a big guy, though, wasn't he?
He was a heavier guy, but not gross by any means. No. He was just a bigger guy. But he was a tactician, he was plotting and planning like well above the level of everyone else. The last thing we have at this point is the rumored casting of Zendaya as Chani, which I know you don't like either, Tim. Correct?
Yeah.
Why?
I'm not a big Zendaya fan, truthfully.
I still don't know who this person is.
The Greatest Showman.
Spider-Man Homecoming?
You said that on our last episode. I had a blank face, and I'm just... Why don't you like her?
I'm not a fan of what she did on Disney because she had her own shows there, and then what she did for Dancing with the Stars because she's a professional dancer, and so naturally she won. To me, that's not Dancing with the Stars. You're supposed to be a star who doesn't know how to dance, not a professional dancer. Very dishonest.
So, even with this news casting and Denis Villeneuve's new. How about that? I got the name pretty
close.
Pretty close. You don't seem to be very interested in this.
No, the new one I can't wait to see.
You do want to see that one.
I want to see the new one. I want to see what they could do with new actors. Like I said, the problem I had with the story is it's a slow burn with no payoff. If you have a slow burn, but you give me that payoff, I feel that it'd be worth it. You have to make it worth it for me to give a slow burn. In my
think
opinion.
you were really going to enjoy the miniseries if you check it out.
I probably will.
And the miniseries is not without its faults.
No, of course not. The miniseries is broken up into 3 parts.
It
the
lacks
first
the
part,
class of.
It's not
Lynch's.
A feature film,
No.
so it feels like a miniseries.
It is a miniseries.
But the story is there, and the performance, at least from Paul, is there. Who's the guy who plays Paul?
The performances are
is
good.
amazing.
That's good.
Part 1 ends with them going into the desert. That leaves 3 hours with him being Muad'Dib. The second part, I believe, is titled Muad'Dib. It's all about, Josh mentioned in our commentary on Dune, it's all about Paul drinking his own Kool-Aid. He's when they first get there, they use the myth of Muad'Dib and the mother that comes with him to save their lives, because the Fremen were perfectly content to kill them and take their water. But they realize very, very quickly they can use this legend and kind of just become these people and save their ass. However, like Josh said, Paul starts drinking his own Kool-Aid and starts really believing this stuff to the point where he becomes a messiah, and not delusional because he could see the future, but he's not the same guy anymore. He changes, and you see that as a slow progression. Same thing with his love story with Chani, or Chaney in that version. That's how they pronounce it. But I really think you'd like that, and I'm sure Denis Villeneuve will get that and nail that. So I'm really enthusiastic for you to check both versions out, the new thing and the miniseries, because I think you'll enjoy them, personally.
Well, I read last night that something I didn't know was that this new Dune will be split into parts as well.
Is that right?
That's the speculation anyway, that it will be split into 2 parts.
Oh.
Good.
And because you were talking about payoffs, so
Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to end the first one, because it's going to cut off in the middle.
Are you sure 2 and not 3?
It may have been 3, but he's not going to do it all in one shot. There's too much material there.
Well, I agree, and the miniseries really shows you kind of the perfect ways to split it up. Essentially 3 acts. All the introduction, all the exposition.
Right.
Part 2 is where everything goes downhill and he becomes the stuff, and then 3, it resolves. I mean, it's really all there.
The book is quite long, isn't it?
Yes.
It's a good size.
It's pretty thick.
I mean, we're not talking Gone with the Wind, but it's big.
Mm-hmm. So I think it's a good thing that it's going to be split up. Don't you think?
For the sake of getting the whole story in there, for sure. For sure.
But if it doesn't do well, we're never going to see.
I think...
We never saw Battlefield Earth Part 2.
That's a very good
If it doesn't make money, we're not going to see how the story ends.
Denis Villeneuve is capable of making a bad movie.
I don't know. I wasn't a fan of Arrival, but that's beside the point.
Well, since we just brought up his name, this seems like the perfect marriage. This Denis Villeneuve guy. And I'm not very familiar with his work. I've seen a few of his movies. I've seen Blade Runner 2049 and Arrival.
You saw Enemy, didn't you?
I didn't see Enemy. You've told me about it.
Oh.
But he is an auteur.
Yes, he is.
There's not many auteurs left, it seems. But he has a definite signature. And his signature, I think, will fit perfectly with Dune. When I saw Blade Runner, I was blown away. It's not a fast-paced film, but oh my God, was it just... I couldn't explain it. It was like I was sucked into that universe. It was completely a feel that it takes an auteur to capture. And I think he did that with Arrival as well. He has that skill to put that stamp on it, and it just sucks you into that world. And I think that's what Dune needs. He is the perfect director for this.
And I think it's a good point to ask Tim, did you like Blade Runner 2049?
I did.
A lot?
We discussed this, yes.
I seem to remember you not liking it.
No, that's not what I said. I said it was the slow burn, but it paid off in the end.
Okay. I got the impression you weren't in love with it.
It's not my favorite movie, but it did I enjoyed it quite a bit. It did Once you told me which version of the original to watch, which one they were going off of there, I watched that. I watched 2049. Like Josh said, it was a slow burn, but it paid off. Mm-hmm. So to me, that was worth it.
And you, in the original of Dune, you just did not feel there was enough payoff.
There wasn't enough payoff. They fast forward through what should have been paid off. There's no character development at all. Mm-hmm. You don't see him become this person. It's still that kid in the beginning. Oh, I heard you coming a mile away. It's still the same kid. I personally felt I didn't see him grow as a leader, as a savior.
Really?
Maybe you and I, Josh, maybe we're
just seen it too many times.
Yeah, and young too. So we're never. You basically saw it yesterday with fresh eyes as an adult. We grew up with it. Maybe we're incapable of seeing it quite the same way that you did. Although I still stand by it.
And he has that inner monologue too. I think that kind of.
Did you like that?
To it,
the inner monologue stuff, Tim?
Until he kept repeating himself about stuff.
The worm is the spice. The spice is the worm.
Yeah, it's like, why do we need to know that?
Well, it's important to the story.
Well, yes, but you couldn't have physically said that, though? You have to think it?
Yeah, maybe.
Well, maybe in the book he did say it, and they just did voiceover in the movie to streamline things.
In the book, there was inner monologues. There was. In the miniseries, they do away with the inner monologues. And they just turn it into
speech, they do. But I remember in the miniseries, it was kind of clunky the way they tried to marry the two ideas. A little bit. Well, specifically with the worms and the spice, it was kind of like obviously they're related.
Yeah.
But in the movie, it was a bit more mysterious.
Yeah, I'll give you that. So, given who I read off as casting for the new movie, is there any major character we're waiting on? I know we're waiting for Fade. We don't have a Fade yet.
What if they get Sting to do it again in his little blue underwear?
they have to find,
and they oil him up again.
They have to find a modern day singer.
Right, I can still do it.
Right, I'm still good. There's Fade. There's Dr. Huey.
Right.
I'm drawing a blank on anyone else. There's Dr. Kynes. He was a smaller part, but he was important in the miniseries and in the movie. Dr. Kynes is Chani's father. That's important.
What about the bushy eyebrow guy?
Oh, the Mentats?
The Mentats.
Yeah. There's the Mentats. There's Captain Picard's character. Captain Picard.
I know.
They still have a number of people to go, but you're approving of the cast, I assume, right?
So far, yeah.
Yeah.
The only one I'm a bit worried about is Jason Momoa. I don't know if his acting skills are going to be up there with everyone else's.
What have you seen him in?
Game of Thrones.
Oh, that's God, it's been so long.
He was okay. I'm not saying he's a bad actor.
You never saw Justice League, did you?
No.
He comes off with a lot more charm and charisma in Justice League than he did in...
Same with Stargate Atlantis when he was on there.
Holy crap, what?
I know! It kind of blew my mind when I found that out, too.
He was on the later seasons of that?
He looked very different.
He did.
Yeah.
And I want to give him a shot.
Oh, yeah, I think he'll be... I mean, he's playing... in this movie, anyway, he's not going to have a huge part, anyway. It's more payoff for later.
I think there will be a later with it because the fans will want to see either good or bad because they've been waiting for Dune to be done what they feel the right way for so long.
Well, you got that right. They have been.
So I think they will give... at least the first one will definitely make a decent amount of money. And then the second one...
Now that I think about it, if they do break it into 3 parts, I think it's going to end just... I mean, if you think about how Fellowship of the Rings ended, it ended with them at a crossroads going off to the next leg of the journey, which is exactly how part 1 of the miniseries ends. I really think that they're going to break it up the same way. It seems like a trilogy is a natural way to approach it, and just film them all at once, obviously.
It also won't end with it. It doesn't end with it raining. That's not supposed to happen.
No, I was telling Tim that today. That's a product of the movie, not the book at all. Which angered a lot of hardcore fans of the book. And the miniseries doesn't end like that at all. The miniseries ends. There's a certain finality to the end of the film that the miniseries doesn't have, and I don't mean that in a bad way. The miniseries, Paul takes over. Paul's the new emperor, but it's like this is day one of a whole nother battle, and you get that impression that this is going to be a struggle every single day. And that's another thing that the miniseries and its sequel, Children of Dune, totally pulls off. Like this, all he did was win a never-ending battle to protect Dune, Arrakis. And it's, like I said, they both have good and bad points.
Well, at this point, I don't see how it's going to fail. I think we're going to get a good movie. Maybe it's not going to be... it has a chance of not being spectacular, but this director seems to know what he's doing. I don't think he's capable of making something
this bad. I agree, and unfortunately, I'm actually a little concerned for the movie, because even though I'll be there day one,
I think we need to wrap it up before Tim falls asleep.
I'm genuine. Look at 2049, Blade Runner. That movie was friggin' great.
Oh yeah,
it didn't do very well. Critically, people loved it, but the audiences just weren't finding it.
It's odd. It's like
I think
it was like Dread.
Yeah,
I thought that movie was awesome,
incredible,
and nobody gave a shit.
No, but nobody saw that. People tried to see 2049.
Well, it didn't have the Stallone version to kind of confuse things.
But with 2049, it made a great trailer. It was visually stunning. I'm sure people showed up, but then for some reason, it just didn't pick up steam.
And it's not like it didn't have star power.
I think the problem with, and this is not a problem for me, but for general audiences, it's a slow burn. Just like Tim said the original was. And I don't think a lot of people are into that these days. They want fast, pow, pow, pow.
Like, I have to think in this movie?
You want me to wait? What?
Where's the explosions?
I mean, look at Fellowship of the Rings. That movie's also a slow burn, but there's a lot of action in it. Dune, even if you count the whole movie, there's not a lot of action in it. It's more of a political thing and the build. So it concerns me that if breaking it up, we might run into a situation where they don't finish it. I would hate to see that happen. But of course, if he shoots it at the same time, that's not a problem.
They did that with Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I know.
So
but I'm saying
I don't know if I haven't heard anything about them doing that yet. We're still too far away.
Yeah, I suppose so. Until he starts rolling film. But we'll see, man. I'm excited.
I mean, it's supposed to come out, I think it's November of 2020. So we got a long time to wait.
Yeah.
A long time.
Yeah.
So things could go wrong.
I suppose so. But I'm excited, guys. I'll leave it at that. Tim,
do you...
thoughts?
I'm excited as well.
Is there anything more you'd like to bash on about the 1984 Dune?
Well, it's probably from the books, but Paul, come on. Super space future names, and his name is Paul.
What?
Paul Muad'Dib.
What's wrong with Paul? This is a nitpick.
Who the hell names their kid Paul in the 10,000 years in the future?
Why not?
Or Jessica. How many Paul cavemen do you know?
Paul cavemen.
So
seriously.
So that's true. It's not. His name isn't Artuk.
So that far in the future, it should be like click, 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 click.
I mean, no, because you have everyone else, and then you have Paul and Lady Jessica.
And then, Gurney. There's
you have Gurney
Halleck.
You have this name, that name.
Is it Vladimir?
Vladimir Harkonnen.
Well, Vladimir is.
Well, yeah.
Well, but that at least sounds somewhat
spacey. Sure.
Hi, I'm Paul. I'm the savior. Who the hell names their savior Paul?
I guess
I never thought about it before.
Maybe it was a class thing. They wanted him to seem richy or something. Well, I'll bow out. Josh, any final thoughts there?
No, I just I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be good. I don't like the fact that I have to wait so long.
Yeah.
But I'm eager to see it, definitely.
Yeah. All right.
Well, if you like the show, hit that subscribe button in iTunes. Give us a good rating, please, and help us. Justin's trying to tell me something. What?
Well, we're on Twitter now.
Oh, we're on Twitter?
Yes. Just search Podcast on Blast.
Podcast on Blast? Pop Culture on
Pop
Blast?
Culture on
Tim
Blast.
forgot the name of our show.
Yeah, we've really bored him with this Dune topic.
He's so bored. He's like, I can't remember what I'm doing anymore.
Yes, Pop Culture on Blast. And click that subscribe button as well.
All right. Can you can reply on Twitter, right?
Yes.
Yeah, give us any ideas for show topics.
Yeah, tweet, whatever. Yeah, give us a show idea, and just help the show grow. It's hard to get a show off the ground because there's a lot of content out there. So, any listeners out there, you want to help us out? Because we don't make money doing this show, so
God knows.
this costs us money. So, yeah, help us out. And if you want to contact us directly, you can always just shoot us an email at pconblast@gmail.com. Until next time, I'm Josh.
I'm Justin.
And I'm Tim.